WP, whoever said that the pen is mightier than the sword never wrote in blood. Written by What the Prompt. They say the pen is mightier than the sword, that words can move mountains where armies fail. But whoever said that had never been asked to prove they belonged, with blood still drying on their hands. When I came home, it wasn't to parades or flags. It was to paperwork, endless forms, proof of service, proof of address, proof of existence, 1,000 small humiliations. They wanted my history broken down into codes and stamps and bureaucratic labels. They wanted to know if I was really me, as if standing there breathing wasn't enough. I wasn't born here, not technically. My parents crossed oceans to bring me here, not just to give me a better life. That's the phrase people like to use, like it's about shiny toys or good schools. But no, they escaped with me in their arms because they had no choice, because their country was tearing itself apart, because staying meant death, slow, brutal, inevitable. They came here not to chase some cartoon dream of opportunity. They came to survive. They came so that I could survive. I grew up memorizing the Pledge of Allegiance before I even understood all the words. I learned how to fit in, how to speak right, look right, act right. I fought harder than most to be normal, because normal meant safe. When the war came, not theirs, not mine, but this country's latest, I signed up. I thought maybe if I bled for it, that would be enough. That service could wash away doubt. That sacrifice would settle the question. It didn't. When I came home, medals didn't matter. Uniforms didn't matter. All that mattered was that box at the top of the form, place of birth. The first time I walked into the building, I wore the uniform anyway. Stupid, maybe, but I thought it would count for something. A shortcut, a sign, a promise. Instead, I got a plastic number in my hand and a seat in a row of flickering fluorescent lights. Verification, the woman said behind the glass. Verification. As if scars weren't enough. As if all the things I'd lost, friends, sleep, pieces of myself, didn't count unless I could produce the proper documents. Weeks passed, each request more absurd than the last. Birth certificates from a city that didn't exist anymore. Witnesses who had vanished into the dust of war. Forms notarized by ghosts. Every visit stripped me down a little more. Every denial whispered, "You don't belong here. You never did." I wrote letters, at first, polite, even hopeful, explaining my story, my parents' sacrifice, my service, my belief in this broken, beautiful idea of America. Explaining that belonging isn't just a matter of paperwork, but blood, sweat, devotion. I wrote until the words blurred into meaningless noise. Finally, they called me back. "Bring everything," the voice on the phone said. "This is your last chance." I should have known better. When I entered the office that day, the air was colder. The guards watched me a little too long. The man behind the desk, the same one who had stamped denied on my applications again and again, didn't even look up. "Name?" he asked, like he hadn't already memorized it. I gave it. He opened my file. It was thicker now, heavy with every piece of paper, every desperate plea. He flipped through it like it bored him. "You're missing documentation," he said. "No," I said, my voice calm but burning inside. "You have everything." He smiled. That slow smile people wear when they think they have all the power. "The question isn't whether we have it," he said. "It's whether we believe it." I looked at him, and I understood. They didn't want more proof. They wanted me to break. They wanted me to beg, to kneel. They wanted to see if they could make me smaller. There was a pen on the desk. Cheap, plastic, blue ink. I picked it up, turned it once in my hand. Then, without thinking, without asking, I pressed the edge against my palm. A sharp line of pain. Blood welled up, bright and real. I pressed my bleeding hand down onto the form, felt the paper soak, felt my name, written not in letters, but in something they couldn't deny. The pen, it turns out, is mightier than the sword, but only when it writes with blood. When I looked him in the eye, he wasn't smiling anymore, because now they had a choice. Recognize me, or carry the stain forever. I didn't wait for the verdict. I turned and walked out, leaving a trail of crimson fingerprints behind me. My signature, my protest, my proof. Somewhere in that sterile room, my blood was drying on their papers, a reminder they couldn't shred or stamp away. Proof enough that I belonged. Proof enough that I fought harder with a pen than I ever had with a gun.